Good morning, everyone. Today will be an interesting discussion. Hope everyone's well. Oh, I'm in my comfy clothes. I forgot to change. And as usual, turn the phone on silent. Hope everyone's doing okay. Let me pop out the chat. If anyone wants to ask a question in today's live stream on any of the recent videos, um, I would say ask a sensible question, but after the video I just made, I'll give people a little leeway because I'm being a hypocrite. But in case some of you, because were quite a few that missed the point, I've been talking about not pretending, you know, when she says nothing's wrong or when you say yes, dear. And now how you dress, stop pretending. Yoga pants look good on more attractive bodies. When you're on the bad end of the spectrum, where you look gross, naked, don't wear skin tight yoga pants. I mean, you can do what you want. But yeah, this kind of loud and proud and shouting at people to like think of it as normal, yelling at guys when they look at a woman breastfeeding in public, oh, that's normal, accept it. It's like you need to appreciate another person's point of view. This is how solipsistic and narcissistic, and you think this is my world and everyone has to accommodate me. I'm the king, I'm the queen. It's like if you use, say, for instance, the breastfeeding. You cannot completely disregard how men see the world. You need to have some sort of sympathy for another person, how they see things, whether they appreciate it or not. You know that other people, like when you go to work, they appreciate it when you dress a certain way, when you speak a certain way. Like those of you who have been to church, there's a way to conduct yourself. You dress appropriately. There's a range. You can't just say, I'm going to do whatever I want to do, and everyone else has to accommodate it. It's no better than these people that say, I've got a temper, uh, but that's other people's problems. I'm not going to change. It's like you're a petulant child. You accept everyone else to be mature and accommodate you, but you don't want to accommodate anyone else. This is what I'm saying, the pretending. And as I predicted, a lot of emotional women in the comment section will say, you're shaming fat people. I'm shaming presentation. Yes, I was glib and I poked fun and sort of made some fat slurs. I don't give a crap. I mean, you can make fun, you can generalize at me and make fun of me. I don't care. But I'm talking about the presentation. If you feel bad about people pointing out that you're overweight, dress in a way that if someone does point it out where you're not really trying to thrust it in their face, then it's more their problem because you're not trying to display your body and you're ashamed of your body. I'd say if you're actually proud of your body and someone commented on it, it would either you would feel good or it wouldn't affect you. If you're truly proud of your body, someone being like making fun of it, if you're wearing skin tight clothing, like shattering your delusion, it wouldn't bother you because you truly believe this. But the truth is, you don't. You want everyone to go along with your lies so you feel better about yourself. You like these women that sort of demand in the UK. I remember a couple of years ago that they take down all. There was a diet poster saying like "Get your body beach ready," and it was just like a picture of a woman, a relatively um, not a fitness model, but she had like a slim, healthy, sexy looking body, and she was in a bikini. And they demanded they take it down because it makes them feel bad. But they want to be loved. People want to be loved. People want to be appreciated. The way to do that is to be either a better person, characteristically, the way you speak, the way you relate to people, or physically, be a better physically looking person. But no, people want to be lazy and want to be as fat as they want, but somehow say that that's the same as a bikini model. We should just all pretend that it's the same. We should love them the same. We should want them the same. What I want is intrinsic. You can't make me sort of want to eat a bowl of mud or a bowl of ice cream and say, yeah, they're the same. You know, they're both a human being. They're both brown. Come on. Pretending. This is half the problem we've got out there. I've been talking about. We pretend on dates. We pretend that fat is thin. We pretend that north is south. Come on. Like, I'm sick of it, personally. And it's not a male thing. Like, I'm sick of having to pretend. Women can pretend more than guys because um, they've got the hierarchy, the government, and other men to lean on, where, oh, they can take care of reality. Yeah, we have to. And I'm sick of having to pretend and sick of having to kind of look at sort of not look at grossly unfit people, but them almost being naked and like, standing there even talking to me behind on the cash register. And it just looks, they may as well be naked. If, like I said, I gave the example of a guy. If a guy is wearing even a relatively fit guy, if a guy is like wearing bicycle shorts and a very tight t-shirt where he's almost got clothes on that are sprayed on, everyone would say like, "Oh man, cover it up. You're not being civil and presentable in public. You're being ostentatious. You are provoking people and pretending you're not." It's equivalent, as I said, to women that wear really revealing clothing, short skirts, their breasts hanging out, and they're pretending that they think that it's the equivalent, or we should think it's the equivalent of them wearing a top like this and just jeans. You are being childishly provoking and obtuse. You're being obtuse at saying, well, look, I don't know why people are looking at me, or people should love me that I'm really grossly overweight and unhealthy. And it's not just my opinion. Your doctor will tell you it's not acceptable as well. Civil old-fashioned standards, there were so many of them that led to, um, success, a higher standard, a good standard that we should all aim for, that most of us are capable for aiming for if we just act a little bit more maturely, if we're a bit more sensible, a bit more grown up about things. Just a bunch of people today having to lie to a bunch of kids so they don't get, I can't even say the word TRIGGERED. Anyway, mini rant over. But yeah, in case most people didn't get it, the overall message of the last one was I just spontaneously wanted to make it because I'm tired of all this pretending. Like, yoga pants are normal here in Australia, and I'm pretty sure they're kind of more than normal in America. And like, it's Walmart normal. Yoga pants on Walmart fat people. And let's just call a spade a spade. Yoga pants already, when they're on an attractive fit person, is sexually provocative. Can we all agree on that? And not the BS of like politically correct sort of women saying, "Oh no, they're just happy and fit and comfortable." It's like, yeah, sure. You don't have to dress in baggy clothing to sort of be fit and comfortable. You can sort of tone it down a bit. Don't spray on your naked body with clothes. So you're trying to have your cake and eat it too. You enjoy the attention and then pretend you are not getting the attention because of the way you are provocatively dressed. Again, how can anyone trust you? Men don't trust me. You're already presenting in a way that can't be trusted because you're saying that you're dressing in a way that you're not obviously dressing. Anyway, hello to the regulars. Hey, Boffin, David, Donna, how are you? Hope everything's good. Yeah, Donna says nothing is lied about in yoga pants. Oh, okay, you're fat. Thanks for being honest. Like, when women say, "Oh, I want a man to be honest." Well, thank you in your yoga pants. Thank you for being honest. At least, like, you know, I don't have to just rely on like what you say. At least you're giving me a heads up, like you're already being dishonest, or you're trying to say that fat is beautiful in the way you're dressing. And it also depends on how the person talks. Like I said, if you're overweight and you're genuinely happy, and if you're the kind of person that says, "Yeah, I need to lose a bit of weight. Yeah, I know I'm a bit big or whatever," and you genuinely don't care, I have zero problem. And again, it doesn't matter. Like, you can dress the way you want. It's not like I have zero problem, so you have to accommodate yourself to me. You're not in my life, and I have enough tact in front of a person. I'm not going to say this. I'm expressing myself like a video journal. I'm expressing about the idea I see. So it's not about you. As I say at the start of the videos, it's not about you. It's about the idea. Don't take it personally. It's not personal. And a lot of the women, again, they thought I was fat shaming. No, I'm shaming the presentation, you know. Whether you're fit or you're fat, if you're wearing skin type clothing in public, aside from, look, if you're fat or fit and you're wearing yoga pants and you're exercising, you're out there going for a walk, a run, you're at the gym, fine. It's exercise wear, but it's also very revealing. And that exercise wear, it was a genuine, originally made, yes, to feel comfortable, but also so you could see your body shape because you're working out. You are focused on your physical fitness. When you're fat, you're not focused on your physical fitness. Sorry. If you're exercising, you might be. Okay, fair enough. Good on you. When I see people on the street, I'm driving by and they're in yoga pants and they're jogging or they're exercising, fine. But if you're just walking around the shopping center, you're wearing your yoga pants all the time, walking around isn't exercising in your day-to-day life. It's just your casual wear. If your yoga pants are your casual wear, it's like, sorry, I don't think you're that attractive. And, sometimes when you bend over, in fact, oftentimes when you bend over, I look away because it's grotesque. When a fit woman bends over in yoga pants, yes, but I don't lie to myself knowing that how I'm reacting and that she's proud of her good-looking body. Quasimandias says, as a yachtsman, I'll take fat yoga pants over a fat Speedo any day of the week. Yeah, of course. You'd rather see yoga pants on a fat woman rather than Speedos on a fat guy because of your orientation as a man. Hey, rocket scientist, how are you? Hi, Davina. Yeah, Davina says what we see cannot be unseen. Boffin, how are you? Feral Android. Bad Andy says, are you wearing your yoga pants, human? No. Am I in focus? No. I thought I was a bit blurry. All right. Any questions again, guys? If you want to direct a question at me, and not just a comment, you want to direct a question at me, make sure you add a bunch of 2 or 3 brightly colored emojis right before your question in this live stream, if you're live, just so I can see them visually on screen. Otherwise, feel free to talk amongst yourselves. The main point of the last video especially was to put an exclamation mark on stop being proud of low standards, whether it's not speaking up, not communicating, saying everything's okay when it's not. And also, again, being real about things, and let's stop giving gold medals to last place. None of us are happy. Let's stop pretending, let's stop giving a medal to people who don't deserve a medal. Let's be civil to each other. Let's be understanding. If a person's realistic and is like, yeah, I need support, I need to lose weight, but everyone's like, no, I'm confident, I'm strong, I'm a boss bitch, I'm this, I'm that, I don't need no this. It's like, but you do. And you think if you Tony Robbins yourself every day, even though you don't believe it, and you can't sleep, and you're anxious, and you're sad, and you're taking antidepressants, then I'm sorry, snap out of it. Let's be real. Let's talk with people that care about you and get on the right track. I know it's hard. But what's the alternative? Lying to yourself all your life and expecting the world to accommodate your lie. That's what's happening today, and nobody's happy. The people that demand that we all live the lie, they're not happy because they're never happy. Look at the woke crowd. And you're not happy because you'd rather be better. If you're fat, I'm pretty sure 99% of or almost going to 100% would rather be lighter, thinner, better looking. They would feel better about themselves. They would sleep better. They would move better. They'd have less back pain. They would be more confident. They would relate to other people better. They would find partners better. They would be more comfortable socially. They wouldn't want to be as introverted as they are. I mean, that's wrong. Sort of, they would want to be more social maybe than what they are. Like, there's just so many positives. You've just got so much more control and autonomy the healthier you are, both mentally and physically. And we are lying to ourselves because we want to be lazy mentally and physically. And I don't care if people are saying, well, you're being harsh. I think we're causing more damage in the other direction by exacerbating and encouraging dysfunctional behavior. If we all wrap our arms around each other and say, no, you look sexy being really large and fat. Like, you don't. But if the person is kind of unhappy, you go like, oh, let's help you, blah, 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 get fit. Like a few people mentioned about personal trainers. Yeah, like if you're willing to be realistic, I'm all on board, and I think hats off to you for wanting to be realistic and lose weight. Good on you. But if I kind of say, well, you need to, no, I don't. You need to love me the way I am. You need to have rose-colored glasses on for me. And also the hypocrisy, and it's not just weight. It's a lot of stuff I talk about, hypocritical standards. You require a lot of people to have standards that you don't hold. You want them to accept you, but then you've got standards that are very high. We've a lot of the Manassi talks about these women who are like 5s or 3s, but they want like 9s and 10s in guys. It's like you want a lot more from other people. You are not relating to people in life fairly. This is the problem I have. You want me to be a fit, good personality guy who has a job, and like I'm just sort of good in, I've got a tick in all aspects. And then there's the degree of like how good I am in those. But as a baseline, I've got to be, healthy, look a certain way, dress a certain way, have a job, blah, 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 all these kind of things. Well, okay, yeah, there's a bit of work, but also it's good for me and blah, blah, blah. If I want to relate to people, I can't just be a 0. It's good for me, and it's good for relating to people, and it makes women feel safe, and it gives me stability in my life and all that stuff. But you can't be a person that's just kind of a lazy slob who doesn't want to do anything but appreciates someone else putting in more effort into their lives and accommodating you. So they're doing a lot of work in their life, and it spills over into your life if you happen to have a relationship with them, and saying like, I like that, but you're stubborn or lazy and you won't give like 5%. Not for yourself, and not also to feed into the relationship. I just don't like fairness, whether it's relating to people or not sort of fairly relating to reality, even if it's got to do just with you. Black Gamer Romania says, this is because we coddle women, essentially lie to them. Look at the celebrity Lizu. Yeah. We've basically said like, oh yeah, like you can push today. Basically, women, they cannot stop. You can be as trashy as you want as a woman, and everyone says, go girl. The top rating shows are the trashiest, most awful women you can imagine. And all they have to do is spread their legs, and they're redeemed, and people will watch them. And this is what they can't discern. Women can't discern between having attention and being respected. So they will say, oh, well, OnlyFans women, I would make $1 million a month. I would like, then I wouldn't care about my reputation. I wouldn't care about being shown. Like, yes, you would. You'd be alone. You'd be rich and alone. You'd be rich and alone and have guys pumping and dumping you every day. and you feel like a used tissue. That's all you're going to get. Oh, but they shouldn't judge my past. Yes, they should. You would judge a man's past, and so you should. If a guy's uh, is some sort of addict, an alcoholic, is being in jail for horrendous crimes, like you'd be an idiot to say like, oh no, let's start from zero. Let me pretend he wasn't this person yesterday. You would vet them you would keep them at arm's length. Even if you wanted to sort of say, well, everyone could be redeemable. Let me see if this guy's the exception. You would keep them at arm's length for a while. Same with single mothers, right? The general principle is like, yeah, don't date single mothers because there's a lot of baggage. You have to sort of accommodate her past in a big way, another man's child, etc. But say you meet that one diamond in the pig trough where she's a genuinely nice person, her kids don't get in the way, like being with her over time, you take your time. If you're going to date a single mum and you're fine with that, she's the best one you've come across, and she's genuinely compatible with you in personality, and she doesn't burden you with the children if you make that obvious and you're genuinely open. Like, again, be sensible about these things, but the general rules are there for a reason, so you're sensible before you know what's what. This kind of avalanche today of let's not be real about things, let's not be honest about things. If it's fat, it's fat. Oh, let's change the term. You can't say fat. You have to say weight challenged. Same thing. In a few years, you can't say weight challenged. There's been so many words that we banned one word and we used another one. Then that word was used in its place. And so the person still feels bad. And you know why? Because they know what it is. You can play musical chairs with words. People at the end of the day, when they go to sleep at night in their head, they still don't feel good about themselves. If you want to feel good about yourself, playing hopscotch with words isn't really going to do too much. Ooh, okay, my ISO is at 200. That's fine. What a topic, huh? I should do more topics in this way. Look, in all honesty, I wanted to do a more relaxed rant in the last video because, like it or not, when I'm not passionate like this about things and a bit more relaxed, as though I was just kind of talking to you one-on-one and just kind of having a rant with you, if I'm just kind of like sort of like reciting a university paper on a topic I find interesting, people just find it like like it or not, people won't absorb anything unless it's entertaining. And if this works, if I can get my thoughts across and what I want to talk about in this way, I might sort of do this more often, just to be able to talk about the ethics underlying these issues. Because unless I do a thumbnail and a title that still relates to what I'm talking about in a clickbaity or in a sort of attractive way that will catch your attention, unfortunately, people don't really care that much. And like, I'm not making videos to waste my time as well. Like, I'd rather just keep them in my diary or keep them in conversations with people in my life. But if I'm going to make video and there are these things that I want to talk about, I want you to see them too. I'm not making them for nothing. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I might do a bit more of these because I still want to talk about something that I think is important. And I think this was an interesting reveal in terms of being able to talk about this topic about, like, let's stop lying that fat is skinny or healthy. Let's stop lying about nothing's wrong when there is something wrong in your relationship. If we stop lying to ourselves, so much of your problems will go away, because when you stop lying to yourself, you stop lying to others. Just a fact, you know. Almost all of our lying is to ourselves. And then we demand that other people join in our fantasy and our lie. And we get offended. It's like, well, my truth is this. I'm offended that you don't believe in my truth. Yeah, well, it's your truth, you delusional unicorn. It's kind of like real truth, objective capital T truth out there, like the sun going up and coming down. Or, yeah, we can generally agree that normalized attraction is for a fit and healthy body within a certain range. There's certain, bit, upwards from anorexic and downwards from fat, there's a range where people find things attractive. But once you get into the fat range or the anorexic range, that becomes a fetish. That's not normalized. And everyone is fetishizing each other in some sort of really peculiar, broken way. Don't tell me to fetishize my relationship with reality and you. Sorry, it's too chaotic. There's enough problems in life without us kind of just free falling off cliffs and then saying, "Oh, I wonder what happened." Yeah, Jake says to Donna, people are basically saying that humans shouldn't judge fat people. People are free to judge anyone they want. It's different if you're if I'm pointing the finger at you. Again, if you're happy being fat, then you might not like it, but you don't really care that much. Again, I know I love the people in my life, and if someone says you don't love them, I'll laugh. I was like, whatever, man. I know I love them. Like, I'm confident in that. The fact that you get offended, you say you're fat and proud and everything's sunshine and rainbows, and you all repeat this thing to yourselves, treading water, trying not to drown in your delusion, but you need each other to sort of keep the fantasy going. If you really believed it, nothing anyone would say would make much of a difference, unless they're personally attacking you. I'm not personally attacking you. I'm saying that myself, most men, we like attractive bodies. Sorry, we do. We're naturally attracted to them. The same with women. They like men who can protect and provide security for them. They do. It's just the natural they prefer that, okay? Let's soften the language for a lot of you who are sort of overly sensitive. Overwhelmingly, most people in the middle of the bell curve, in the middle part of society, not the extremes, the normal part of society, we prefer fit-looking bodies. If we had to choose, here you go, male, female, what do you choose? This unhealthy, lazy thing, or this more disciplined, attractive thing in whatever way, whether it's physically or characteristically? Which one would you choose? 100% of people would choose the fit, healthy, more attractive thing, unless you've got mental problems. You've got issues that you need to therapy for, or you've just been hardwired and born with them, like being a sociopath. Like, can't help it. I love awful crap. I'm not shaming fat people. I'm shaming fat people who spray on their clothing, and I need to look at all their rolls. It's disgusting. Even someone who was normal, who's wearing bike shorts as a guide, it would be like, oh man, you turn away. It's like, I don't want to look at you naked with sprayed on clothing. I don't want to focus on your genitals in public, Genitalia? Like, I don't want to notice them. I mean, I'm beating a dead horse. Those of you who follow my channel, the majority of you in the comments, I'm not talking about you. Like, I'm talking about these drive-by offended people. We all know what's what. You can try and get people to really fight against their natural predilections. It's like telling someone not to be hungry when they haven't eaten for 3 days. It's like people are naturally, they react in certain ways. Trying to force people, like make everyone else uncomfortable just so you're comfortable in a place you'd probably rather not be if you're honest with yourself. Would you rather be like most other normalized people? Not just to get along with them, but life is a bit more balanced, being more, having a more normal range body shape, being more normal in terms of your finances. I mean, you don't have to go to extremes. You don't have to be super rich, but it's no good being poor either. this is what I'm saying. Let's be honest about this. Boffin says, on a positive note, yoga pants on a fat chick are more effective than a chastity belt. Look, and we should be able to have it. None of us have a sense of humor about things. And this sort of sense of humor, to calibrate ourselves back to what's a good standard in life, guys do it all the time. They're doing it less and less today because they're influenced by women more and more. But back in the days, through sports, military, um, elders mentoring young guys, it's like, stop sulking, pick yourself up. Stop wallowing in your emotions. Like, do the right thing, get up, be better, take that step, do the right thing. We've lost that. And we're doing what women do. You're amazing. You're not. You're not amazing. You're barely human. You're barely acceptable. Especially if you want people to respect and appreciate you. If you're happy with yourself, fine. If you're a good person, that's a great, great baseline for a decent human being. But if you want to also be admired or respected for how you look, just respected, not admired, respected, right? Be balanced and normal. You don't have to be super fit, but don't be super fat either. You can't word salad me and shame me into calling north south or left to right. It's not. Left is left, right is right. Also, physics and reality don't agree with you. When you get on a plane, all the fat people can complain that they have to buy 2 seats, but they're taking up twice the amount of space. There's weight. There's room in public space. Like, you are not being fair to others. You are asking others to pay for you or to accommodate you. Like, if the unhealthy extremes are starting to spill into the middle and we're all lying to each other to make that the average, you can just see how society is going to get more strained and we're not going to get along when we're all lying to each other just on the baseline of what health is and calling ugly beautiful, or we call fat thin, or we call good bad. It's like that, all those extreme dysfunctional kinds of thinking and behavior that used to need therapy or a straitjacket in the past. Now we're normalizing it. And now the outliers are people who just want to be ultra sensible, like your parents used to be, and call a spade and call good good and bad bad and not be relative. All the relative people and all the fantasy thinkers are in the middle. And all the realistic, boring thinkers like me are on the outside. Good luck in the middle. I suppose it's going to make for endless YouTube content though, but I would rather have a more livable society where people are more realistic and they treat people fairly and better. They don't expect more from somebody else than they're prepared to give. Look, Feral Android says, I wear compression shorts when I'm out running, but it's usually alone in the forest. This is the thing, like if like what you do in your bedroom, like what you do in private, you're kind of aware of what other people what you're going to display to other people. Yeah, you don't let them personally sort of shame you, but also you're aware of like how you affect other people, how you are around children, how you speak to elders, like relating to other people fairly without changing your character. There's a certain respect when you go to church. If you do, you present a certain way, and there's a formality. If you work in an office, you probably have some sort of dress code. Even if like whatever job you do, you have some sort of dress code or whatever. And there's something that's cohesively really good in public. Like if you have a work outfit, say you're a delivery driver and you've got a certain outfit, it's kind of trust. Oh, there's a delivery driver, the van, the colored uniform. Oh, he works in an office. He seems like he's not, like he wouldn't be working in an office if he wouldn't get the job in an office and dress that sort of way. There's a level of trust. I know it's not complete, but there's a bit of leeway there. But if everyone is a zero and we have to believe that's something that our instincts say, oh my God, look at that, just visually, your first impression of a person is the visual one. And if your reflexes, your primal reflexes go, oh, gross, or oh my god, that's like a bit worrying. Like if you see like a a, a big guy with like tattoos up to his neck and he's like shouting and he's angry and he's holding a baseball bat walking down the alley towards you, you're not going to say, oh, he's just a normal person and he's just got a like your natural instincts are going to have a first impression of that person. And this is the lying that I don't like. Yes, we've got iPhones, but we're devolving to a much more primitive state than our great grandfathers and grandmothers had. We're not relating to each other very in a civilized way. We're using civilized devices, but we are not relating as people very civilized. Remember, guys, like, subscribe, join the channel if you feel like it. Super chat me a question if you want to shoot a question to me as well. Let's see. Peg says, I'm still chuckling over humans' description of a strapped up Christmas ham. I got that one from my brother. He's a funny guy. He came up with that one. He always used to sort of, and look, various members of my family are weight challenged from time to time, depending on like their times of life. And I never in front of them ever say this, but we laugh generally. Even those of us who have had problems with our weight, we can make a joke about fat people in general. But you have enough civilized tact to be able to laugh at yourself and also just laugh about the idea because you know it's laughable. As I said in the video, people ridicule what is ridiculous. If you push yourself to the ridiculous, the way you speak, what you believe, your dumb ideas, or the way you present yourself, and you're saying, "No, believe my fantasy." It's the extension of a kid who puts on a cape and says, "I'm Superman," and you go, "Oh, good for you, Timmy." And then he grows up, he's like, "No, I'm Superman." He's a teenager wearing the cape and he doesn't take it off. It's like, oh, okay, this is a mental disorder. Like something's wrong with you. Let's go to therapy. Let's do something about this. An Interesting Life says, why did it become normal for people to cut holes in their pants? I'm assuming like their ripped jeans. I think it's people who want to be edgy and grungy and seem dangerous, like bikers, and fashion too. Anything that will get you noticed. Haven't you noticed in fashion? If you can get people to look, that's all that matters in fashion today, especially high fashion. The more people can go, oh my God. And it's the same with like advertising, YouTube. They don't care if it's good or bad or moral or immoral. Clickbait my eyeballs, and that's all I care about. Because it gets attention and we can put ads in that direction. It's either ads in that direction or attention from someone in that direction. There's a sea of lemmings, and one lemming is wearing a brightly colored hat. And it's kind of like, oh, there's someone. They seem interesting. Feral Android says, people used to dress nice when they fly. Now they show up in pajamas and barefoot all downhill. I noticed this when I was flying early in the year. You have people in their track pants, socks, and flip-flops, slip-ons, and they just look like they came out of bed. And I get you want to be comfortable, but just and from the screaming kids on airplanes, they don't care about anyone else. This is the thing that's really disturbing for me, that bothers me a lot, and I won't back down from this. It bothers me that no one cares about any, like, I'm important, you should accommodate my noise, whether it's audio or my visual noise, like fat chick, yoga pants, camel toe, fat rolls, muffin top, or whether it's a guy, big beer belly. Like it was actually said in the comments, like, we have really no problem, and guys don't have a problem if you point out sort of like some ridiculous looking guy. And everyone's like, yeah, take it home, idiot. Like, you look dumb. And the guy won't, you know, the guy's delusional if he says, no, I'm sexy. It's like, yeah, this guy's got issues. But a woman who does the same thing and says like, I'm sexy, I'm attractive. Every woman in society says like, yeah, you are. You are. Yeah, hand the woman a knife as well in the street. That's what's, you know, Like, it's dumb. Like, yeah, you shouldn't drive either, maybe. Maybe you need a license to have kids too. Yoda says he's a personal trainer and he's seen it all. It's definitely crazy. And yet, like I said, if someone is honest and wanting to get fit and they're overweight, I feel, on hand on heart, I honestly feel admiration when I see, whether even if they're in yoga pants, you see like an obese person sweating on the treadmill and they're going for it. Like that kind of motivation and determination, that is the human spirit that I love, not the spirit that blames everyone else, is just at the mall, like eating, like drinking a big milkshake and hoeing into like a burger with dripping sauce in yoga pants, like a bunch of girlfriends, like pramming around their fat kids, like just making them and their futures worse, them setting the standard of normalized dysfunction. Like the person that actually takes responsibility, I would rather give the medal to that fat person sweating on the treadmill than the medal to someone who's already fit. Like the medal goes to them first every single time. Total respect. Okay, ISO is a bit low. Yes, that's better. Perfect. I'm not minding these colors. Oh, again, for the nerds, microphone today is a shotgun. What's it called? It's the Audio Technica AT875R. Camera is my GH5 Panasonic mirrorless camera, connected via HDMI to my computer, running through Streamlabs, which is all of this that you see online streaming. And the lens on my camera is a Leica 12mm f1.4 variable ND filter on it, which allows me to do this with the light. It's basically sunglasses on a lens for bright sunlight. And running through my audio system of the Rodecaster Pro 1. Not 2, but 2 would be nice. Galen says, do you have a girlfriend? Yes, I have someone in my life. Around insulting other people's physiques. I'm doing well, joined a bit late. How do we normalize bad behavior in society? I think we don't need to I think it's a kind of a bit of a cop out. It's well-meaning that we want to fix society, how do we change society? But I think if we take the responsibility of ourselves and we're the best we can be all the time, and we speak this kind of honesty and fairness and relate to the world honestly, and we don't excuse bad behavior, we don't call bad good and good bad and left right and up down and blah, blah, blah. That's how you change society. You can't ignore how you act, your ethics and morals. You need to be disciplined in as much as you can in your world. And when there's enough of us, that standard of disciplined reality grows. Disciplined reality, I think it gives leeway to sort of make a mistake, but where right is calibrated towards. So I'm not perfect. I make a lot of mistakes. Some weeks I'm disciplined in like my diet, my productivity and blah, blah, blah. Other times I slip. But if I know I'm pointed in this direction of, good or as good as I can, this is the street I want to be going down. Then when I stray and accidentally go into another street, you find your way back. You know what the right street to go down is. Not, but this other street is like really easy. Like, who cares? It's leading you down it's going downward into a dark hole. It's a bit of work. Go back up. The more you let yourself stray away, the worse it gets. Yeah, Davina says it's intellectually dishonest. That is the problem. It's fat acceptance. Look at it this way. I can't understand these parents, right? That if you see your kids suffering psychologically, right? Or physically, but more importantly, psychologically, because like being physically unhealthy is going to kind of make you psychologically unhealthy. They're going to start having to lie to themselves, demand that other people lie to them, demand that everyone tells them they're wonderful and great. But if you see your child or your brother or someone you really care about suffering psychologically and it's just getting worse and worse, would you encourage them? Or would you help them by pushing them gently in the other direction and saying, yeah, I know it's tough, but this is the right way? You are not being a good parent. You're not going being a good person to yourself by lying to yourself. If you're the one going through this, if you're overweight, if you're have some sort of addiction or stuff, like it might be hard, but you need to get better. You know what the right path is. So you're not treating the people you care about well if you lie to them. You're not treating yourself well if you lie to yourself. As Davina says, it's intellectually dishonest. Fat acceptance is BS. Just from your doctor can't lie as well. Although they're trying to use language so you don't want to make people feel bad, because there's so many, the sort of the woke lexicon has spilled over into everything, because all that's important is that we feel good all the time, which is stupid, because the people with the highest self-esteem don't need to feel good all the time. They need to live in the real world, because sometimes you need a bit of friction, or you need a bit of cold water, uncomfortable cold water splashed in your face to see clearly again. We can only know achieving and feeling good by the path to get there, or the bit of a struggle to climb uphill to get to the top. Now, what's next? I want to climb Mount Everest. Can you just drop me on the top with the helicopter so I can take a selfie? It's like there is the point to living that involves constructive struggle in a lowercase s, like working out. You don't want to work out, but often you take the first step and you put your runners on and you go out there and you're proud of yourself immediately and you're feeling good within the struggle, within the low-level struggle. And then afterwards, you feel even better because you did it. You did something. You can point to something. You can actually have more control of your good feelings because you know what you need to do to get them. Rather than I feel crap, I'm the prisoner of my mind that's making myself feel bad. So you know what I'll do? I'll foist the responsibility for everyone else's minds and mouths to make me feel better, to accommodate my BS fantasies. So I'm too lazy to do the work myself. Everyone else has to. No, sorry. I got one life to live. The people I'm going to deal with in my life, I don't expect them to be geniuses, but I don't expect to also fight against them lying to me and themselves and pretending to call good bad. Yes, we can reasonably talk within a certain area and say, yeah, I know it's hard, weight and losing weight and getting fit. Like, it doesn't feel, of course it doesn't feel good. Yeah, look, I'm not making fun. But then when you push the extreme and you start to hamster wheel excuse after excuse, and then you start getting annoyed at me, like, no, fat is great, fat is beautiful. Why don't you find fat women attractive? It's like, if I don't find fat women attractive, that is not me like wanting to crucify fat women. It's like, be fat. I don't care. Most of us aren't going to want to be around you. We're not going to want to, guys aren't going to put posters of fat women on their walls or on their screensavers. I'm sorry. This is what they've been doing recently, like in the last couple of generations of feminism, is like take posters of attractive women off of men's bathrooms and like workplaces and stuff, because it makes women feel unattractive. It's like, sorry, sweetheart, you're not walking around the office looking that good or that naked. Calm down. Like, they feel bad about themselves. That's why they want to get rid of anything. But it's also dulling the senses too. We're not excited by anything. We're not inspired. As a man, we're not inspired by beautiful women anymore. As women, you're not inspired to be healthy or be the best woman physically that you can be. Every standard is low now. What have men got to be inspired about? Going to work for Why should I have an average lazy girlfriend who doesn't like me when I can watch porn or go to the brothel, and she will treat me more like women of the past did, even if it's an act. Like, it kind of looks like what it like. It's like, this is fun. At least, aren't relationships supposed to be fun? Anyway, I'm digressing from the point. Yeah, Chris says there's no way sumo wrestlers are unhealthy either. What do you think? Look, they're not healthy either, but that's also culturally part of their sport. They get that weight. Their sport requires them to be like really big because it's functional in their sport. Yoda, thank you for the super chat. He or she says, "What's wrong with big chicks in yoga pants?" Human joke. Okay. Yeah, TG says, "Why don't men receive the same pass when it comes to body shaming?" Look, women don't really care about men's bodies as much as men care about women's bodies, which I think is a lot of women's frustration. I think underneath it all, they don't like being judged for their bodies in the same way men don't like being judged for their money as well. But I'm sorry, like, whether you have a job or you're broke, women are going to judge you. I can scream to them, I'm blue in the face, but that's how most women are. They might like your personality, but if you don't know whether you're going to have a roof in your head and you're going to be kicked out on the street, she can have as much sympathy as possible. But if there's no way, like if you're going to be homeless and almost die out in public, like, yeah, sorry, I'd love to be with you, but and also with a guy, like at least with a woman's body, it's part of her. What men feel betrayed by is that women like men for their money and their financial success, and that's got nothing to do with the actual person you're picking. You could replace any guy that's just, in the range of like, oh, I find him good looking. So our person, who we are, doesn't matter to women. That's worse for a lot of guys. At least, even if it's just physical, it might be superficial, but at least that's part of you. That's just specifically you. How you look, your body, as well as your personality. So at least the doorway to you, ladies, is still part of who you are. You own that. The doorway to us, the betrayal, where men feel really not appreciated and not cared for as people, it really doesn't matter who we are. Or all it matters is what we came with. It's almost like what clothes we have on our back. It's not really who we are. Our window dressing doesn't matter. You could replace us with any guy, and that's what's important for most women. Whereas with a woman, yes, we might appreciate like a sexy or fit body, but if you have that body, we can't take that away from you unless you really don't care about yourself. So even if women are selfish, selfishly take care of your own health and we will selfishly love you. And it's part of who you are. But with us, we lose our job, even if it's not our fault. Like, sorry, women say, I don't love you anymore, because that's where we really feel worthless. How we're loved by most women has virtually nothing to do with who we are. It's what we have. And that's, yeah, that's a bitter pill to swallow. Feral Android says guys still go for fat women though, so they don't think they need to change. It's become fetishized as well. I don't really. It's not healthy. I think the natural inclination for human beings is health, like vitality, youth, health, fitness. I think that's the underlying natural reflex. I think now it's just become normalized because people are lazier and lazier. And also, since it's like women's standards are really high, men tend to just take what they can get, and they just kind of be, oh well, I'm happy with the women around. Just like guys are just think it's normal for women to be obnoxious and turn up on dates like not providing anything, like crossing their arms and considering all men pigs, and you have to prove yourself just to be a decent guy. They don't come to dates optimistic. Women come to dates pessimistic, and men have to prove themselves. So men just go there feeling inferior and thinking like, I'll just be happy if she sees me more than once and I can keep this going because I'm nothing. Society, my single mother, and everyone has just told me from when I'm born, I'm never good enough. I need to try more. The only time we'll actually Smile and be proud of you is if you're Christian Grey, like you're the best of the best, then you're admirable. But pretty much any non-fat, nice woman with a decent personality, what used to be normal in our grandparents' day, that used to be like, oh, I found a goddess. She's normal. She's a nice person. My biggest standard is a nice person. You would think that would be normal. At the very least, of course. Why would you go out with someone who wasn't nice? But it's really hard today. Like most women out there are obnoxious, entitled, and as we've just been talking, or I've been talking about more, is a lot of them just below average physically and downright gross, but they think they're great. They're twos, but they think they're tens. You look at most women in public, microphone in their face. Where would you rate yourself? The majority of women rate themselves far, far higher than what they objectively are. Far, far higher. And when you hear a woman rate herself, like this is the dumb thing, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. This goes for guys and girls in the stream. You watch these podcasts of men and women, like the popular channels that everyone watches, right? Most of the women on those panels, you ask them to rate themselves, and a lot of them aren't anything special. They're overweight. They just got a lot of makeup on. They think that makeup is beauty, but it's not. It's makeup is like a disguise for a lot of women's unattractiveness. Take the makeup off, and we'll see how objectively beautiful you are. But a lot of them, they rate themselves too high. They overcompensate, and I know it's like this trying to give themselves self-esteem and trying to think better of themselves. And so they talk better of themselves, which is great, but don't talk unrealistically. And the moment you see a normal woman or just above average go, yeah, I think I'm about a 7, you go, whoa, a sane woman. She's kind of in the range where I would have guessed too. That's very rare. But most of them, when guys say, okay, where would you rate yourself, ladies? You go, all right, here we go. Here comes like cranking your rating like 3 to 4 times above what it reasonably is. And a lot of like, you get these chicks that guys would have to pay you on a dare to go up to and sleep with and pick up. And they rate themselves as 9s or 8s. It's like, and you notice some of them, they don't rate themselves as 10 because they kind of know a limit. It's always between like 8 to 10. It's like, do you realize that 8 to 10 is the top percentile? I believe this is my truth. My truth is 9. Yeah, go sleep with yourself then. Yeah, some of these people, they can't discern that if people are sleeping with them, people are sleeping with them as a fetish, and they might be banging them as a short-term fetish, but they're not banging you because they genuinely find you like the prize amongst everyone else. They're sport effing you. They're like, and these cougars as well, that they get older and they think, oh, I can get a young guy. If you know you've got a good-looking cougar, good for you. Like, I commend you. You look great for your age, sweetheart. But it's like they think that, look, I can still get this young guy, but you're not getting him to love you. How many of these cougars get the young guy to introduce them to their friends at a barbecue? Their parents meet them. They're in love. We're moving in together. We're getting married. Hardly ever happens. Hardly ever happens. In the same way that these women that they have affairs with married guys, and they say, "Oh, he's going to leave his wife for me." Hardly ever leaves his wife for her. She's the side chick. She's the fun. She's the pawn. You know. And a lot of these women who think that they can get the quarterback or the Chad for one night, they think that, oh no, see, that's my standard. I can get him. No, you can get him for one night, because in that bar, Chad is probably like scoured the room and he slept with a few of these women, and a few of these women are kind of annoyed that it never turned into a relationship, and they feel like, oh, he just wanted to sleep with me and nothing else, and they feel kind of a bit icky about it, and they don't respect themselves. And he'll say, oh no, she's all right. I haven't done her yet. Don't forget, men's range, ours is very average. Most guys, what they really want is 5 and above. They will go for a fun 5 or a ball-breaking 9. So we have a range of what we pursue and what we want to go to bed with that's purely physical. But if you want physical not to be the first thing that men judge you on, well, be more than just your physical. If you want to be judged and loved by certain standards, then display those standards, insist on those standards. But don't say, oh, I'm just going to dress like a streetwalker, but I want him to magically see things in me that I don't even display. Like, he can't magically love you the way you love your world, ladies. You're very magical and delusional about how you operate in your world. And you take 5 times more antidepressants than men do on average because of that, because you just don't plug into reality. Men will sleep with a wide variety of women, but what they settle down with, what they want as a standard, is very different. Dami, thank you very much for the super chat. He says women rate 80% of men as undesirable on dating apps, and men are the opposite. No, it's actually higher now, Dami. It's like a 90 plus percent now, because that was based on like a Tinder stat, or an OkCupid stat, in conjunction with a follow up Tinder rating shortly afterwards. But it was like the 80-20 rule. 80% of women went for 20% of the men. But now, some years later, now it's actually, they've redone the stats, and it's something like 90+% of women go for the 10% of men, and it's getting smaller and smaller. So their standards are higher and higher and higher. It's an effect of dating online, but it also shows women's standards and superficiality, and how unrealistically people are dating and frustrating themselves. Karu, how are you, man? He says, fat chicks are fine. Why are we not addressing the real elephant in the room? Fat yeah, in yoga pants. Yeah. A man sort of like, it's the equivalent. I don't want to see a fat chick's junk in yoga pants any more than a woman would appreciate a fat guy's junk in bicycle shorts. Am I being unreasonable? Come on. Darren says, I'm 6 foot and 80 kilos. I would like to be a little heavier. Yeah. Well, I think if you're 6'1", I think a good weight is to sort of be around 85 to between 85 and 95. Like probably 90 is a sweet spot, I'd say, or high 80s. Again, it depends on if you work out, if you're muscular or not. If it's just purely body weight or body weight plus muscle, because muscle, I think, weighs more than fat. Yeah, Quasiman says women care about looks like crazy, but they pretend not to. And they insist, like, if they can make us shut up and believe in their fantasy, then they need to care about their sort of responsible desires or their standards less. It's like, no, be responsible for your standards. Like, tough love's pretty good as long as you do it civilly. Yeah, Elusive Man knows men are human doings on a subconscious level. We know it's better. We all know it's better to be sensible. Can we agree? Yeah, there's a place for us to be compassionate and speak in a tactful way, but let's continue to speak in the right direction. Not delusionally exacerbate the problem. Because a person's crying, you don't say cry more. You try and get them to cry less. I don't want someone I care about to continue crying and saying, yeah, yeah, just keep crying. Yeah, cry, 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 cry. Wallow in that. It's like there's a time and a place, and then you want to help them up, you know? Stop keeping them down. What's the saying in addiction? When you keep encouraging the behavior, there's a term for it. I can't remember it. It's like anyone involved in a bad addiction or something like that. They're and you're you're unconstructively sympathetic. Like you're actually adding to it. You're making them worse. Is that you're something their behavior? What's the word? Maybe some of you guys can help me remember it. Yeah, hit the like button, guys. We've got 157 people on at the moment. Hit the like if you appreciate these streams and the channel. Join and comment as well. Even if you just comment, I love the conversation going on about some of these topics. Don't just kind of like, I know I spurred out a bit in my video. I had a bit of a rant, but there was a point to it. There was a point to, like, I just hate seeing delusion out there and all of us normalizing delusion. I hate hearing normalized delusion in relationships, like nothing's wrong when something is wrong, or the guy saying yes dear when he doesn't agree with it, when a guy can't say a polite no and stand up for himself. Like, let's stop playing these games. Let's start relating to each other fairly, honestly, and civilly. Lover of You says, wait, human, I'm not on a popular channel. I'm talking about in the manosphere. I'm not sort of in the popular sphere. I'm sort of I think I'm sort of a bit lower. I'm talking about ones that are like 250,000, 500,000, things like that. So I'm sort of on a lower tier. I just don't think it's constructive just to talk about what's wrong. I think we need to, even if we're talking about things like, I'm all well for pointing at sort of what's wrong, but then talking about also the opposite. So it's too easy, like some of these channels, to say that's wrong. See what women are doing, it's dumb. It's not like just blaming the world or blaming women and saying how dumb they are. And I'm just perfect. I don't think that's healthy. If we're going to describe what's wrong, let's describe what's right. Let's describe a higher standard. Let's also acknowledge, like, yeah, I'm not perfect too. Where can I improve? Let's raise my standards so it's very easy to not fall into a trap of a bad standard with someone on a date or getting into bad relationships. If you ascribe and keep yourself calibrated to a good standard when you're on your own, then it's very easy to kind of feel like, whoa, something doesn't feel right here. And it's probably due to your standards being higher or very much more disciplined or more precise. And this person is just a train wreck, ready to dismantle the standards you have. Um, okay. Okay, remember, if you want to ask me a question, put some emojis before your question so I know it's for me. Um, Yoda, his super chat says enabler with a question mark. What does that mean, Yoda? In context to what? What does enabler mean? Yes, maybe that's the word I was looking for, enabler. You're enabling someone's dysfunctional behavior. Yep, I think that was it. Thank you. Yeah, Darren says this is just the way I am, shouldn't be a thing. I agree. I am fine being odd. I'm frustrated being odd. I am I'm annoyed at people. Like, if, for instance, if we someone, I can't even speak. If we see someone that's obviously disabled, it's in bad taste. And I wouldn't say, ha ha, he's disabled, work on it. It's like, you can't. But if someone can generally, with a bit of effort, gain self-esteem and be proud of themselves going in the direction that's better and healthier, I think that's the kind of tough love we had more of in the past. It's like, yeah, I know it's a little bit hard, but just do a little bit of work and just start taking steps in the right direction. But not wanting to take one step, but you would rather take steps in the wrong direction, and telling me that I should call that wrong direction the right direction is like, sorry, I don't want to start thinking like that. You can, good luck with it, but stop shouting at me that I should have that as my ethics. Darren says the problem is there is no standard. That's why it's important for us to have a standard with ourselves and politely say no when we don't agree to this no standard out there, this relativism, psychological word salad. Like, what is truth? Well, what is healthy? It's like, I know what healthy is. Your doctor knows what healthy is. Science knows what healthy is. Your body knows what health is. How you sleep, what you're attracted to, whether I can get it up, whether I'm disgusted by you, whether I'm not. If I'm revulsed by you, if there's revulsion or attraction, that's an innate feeling. Yes, you could be a peculiar person that sort of like gets off on fat chicks. You got those guys that do, right? It's probably women that do too, but they're rarities. But I'm talking about normalized, normal attraction, love, biology, like all that stuff that normal human beings um, work within. Martial arts oriental medicine says, what happened? Is that a question to me? Martial arts oriental medicine? Oh, it just kind of was, I think it was a follow up to like the last couple of videos where I described not lying about what we mean. Like, don't say everything's okay, yes, dear, when it's not. Women who say nothing's wrong when there is. And now physically on the street, you've got someone lying about like, oh, I'm fit and I'm wearing yoga pants and look at my body and why are you staring? It's kind of equivalent to the woman who is attractive and lets her boobs hang out and pretends that people shouldn't stare. Like, just it was just another reminder of, yeah, pretending. But nothing happened. It was like a momentary rant that I thought could be entertaining, but also extend the conversation I was having in the last couple of videos. Let's read some of the so the comment, like I just took the poll a little while ago, and where's the, yeah, I took this poll just a little while ago. How do you, oh no, that wasn't it. That was the old one. Let's do this real time, shall we? The poll I actually took was this one. See, this is real time being okay with imperfection, guys. No, that wasn't it either. All right, let's not screw around too much. Anyway, the the poll I was talking about was, I asked, can we agree that tight skin clothing in public is basically showing off your nakedness, right? And so, yeah, this is the way I can do it. There we go. Cool. This was a poll. And again, reality. This was what I expect, especially from, like, if you follow my channel, let's try and talk maturely and reasonably. We don't have to be perfect, but tight skin clothing in public is basically showing off your naked body, the outline of it. You're spraying your clothes on and you can't pretend otherwise. You are very much objectifying yourself and you're very much displaying your body. And yeah, 94% of people agree. So on that basis, if you have a unattractive body. And I don't want to hear like, yeah, you can have the fetishized people that's look, I like fat chicks. It's like, good luck. It's already hard enough to find someone. Try finding those peculiar weirdos. And they are weirdos. You know, guys that genuinely like, they don't like fit sort of bodies. Like, what are the kind of bodies that guys watch porn on? Like, what are the kind of women? How do they look? Where do 94% of male porn watchers, where do they go? They're not going to the fat chicks on porn sites. Just what they're attracted to physically, what turns them on. And I don't care about like, oh, well, what about what's on the inside? We're not talking about what's on the inside. We're just talking about primal attraction here. Yeah. Transor says, damn right, and I wouldn't even mind that much if they were honest about it. Instead, you get used to the I do it for myself argument. It's got nothing to do with seeking attention from the opposite gender, etc. Right. Yeah, most of the women that display themselves a certain way don't really, although there are a lot of women that wear yoga pants at home, I'd say, because it is comfortable. I can see that, it's comfortable. But in public, you are showing everything. Everything. And in the same way, if I didn't have a fit body, I would wear looser clothing because it's not a high standard to kind of show the human body at its finest form. People appreciate that. But even if you do, let's be honest, you are kind of objectifying yourself. And you are objectifying a very low standard. And people aren't going to be like, "Ooh, that's attractive." They're going to say, "Whoa, I notice it, but geez, I wish I didn't." Again, let's stop giving gold medals to last place. Let's stop accommodating children is what I want to say. Some of the comments, Boondoogle under the video said, I'm more bothered by the chicks with sexy bodies in yoga pants or dressing like strippers in public places like the grocery store where you have families and people just trying to go about their daily business. Not only is it inappropriate because of the audience there, but the implicit duplicity really bothers me because the authorities in this society say that you're supposed to act like they're not doing what they're doing. Yeah, they're basically fishing with their bodies and wanting you to be attracted and stimulated by their bodies, right? They're intentionally fishing and sexually stimulating people. And men are not supposed to respond sexually to women being overly sexual while they're getting to pretend that they're not. An obese person in yoga pants doesn't bother me nearly as much as that. True, fine, I get that too, because they don't suck up all the energy in the room and make people uncomfortable. Look, a fat person will like, but the uncomfortableness is different. One's grossed out, one's getting aroused, but you're still provoking and you're stimulating and provoking people in a certain way. And the pretending and saying like, well, it's not. You should be responding naturally in a different way. I can't. I respond naturally in the way I respond. This is an innate reaction to you. It's an innate reaction. If you're wearing yoga pants and you're attractive and you bend over, it stimulates me to respond in a certain way. And if you're fat in yoga pants and you bend over, it stimulates me to respond in another way that I'm disgusted by. Sorry, I am, and most people are, unless they fetishize fat chicks. You have to take into account other people's response. We relate to other people in the world. Have a bit of civility and decorum with people. Why do you need to sort of fish without attention and be proud in public? Why? Because you want people to validate you. People just pity them or think that they're clueless. Yeah, I've sort of said if you're working out or jogging, fine. I don't care. I would give the gold medal and props to the overweight person sweating and getting fit. Like, because that is much more determination than the person that's already fit. The person that's already in good shape already has the medal and they're just maintaining it. But the person that's trying to get the medal, that's like much more admirable. That's like, especially for a guy, I think it's a much more admirable path that they're going along in. How long have we been going on for? Ooh, all right. Look, uh, David P says, when I look at a woman, I want a little bit of mystery. I don't want to see every fold, rolled, or camel toe, and then be told I'm a pig for looking. You're a pig for looking, but they're not a pig for being naked, looking like a pig. And he continues, well, if you don't want to see it to be seen, don't advertise it. Yeah. If you're advertising a good body or a disgusting body, it's going to be noticed. Both of them are going to be noticed. It's the same problem where when good-looking women dress provocatively. You can't pretend, oh, what are you looking at me for? You can dress down and get people, you can blend into the crowd. But if you don't want to blend into the crowd, if you want to be noticed, then own being noticed for whatever way you're being noticed. If you like wearing yoga pants, wear your yoga pants, but then wear something over it. Wear a dress. If you don't want to wear a baggy tracksuit, if you think it looks very unflattering, then there's a way of dressing uncomfortable with a woman. Are yoga pants the only option, ladies? Are they? Mini skirts and short tights, is tight, revealing clothing the only way you can be comfortable? Stupid. Lingus is obviously a female, and they say, I wanted to put this comment in because it's just an example of the majority of people that took my video as me fat shaming. I'm not fat shaming. I'm shaming the fat people who love showing me their naked, disgusting body. And we don't need to see it any more than I don't need an attractive person showing me their genitalia through their skin tight clothing as well. I don't need to. For a woman, yeah, attractive, but I don't necessarily need it. But I respond positively. But still, in public, we've lost that kind of civility. Why do you need to? I'm just beating a dead horse. Lingus, she says, one of the few group hatred behaviors still to white men is the hatred of the overweight. I'm sorry. Me as a white guy, I'm not allowed to have an opinion or a disgust or a dislike to something. Only everyone else, everyone except me, has a right to dislike and hate things, but not me. No. This is no different than a lynching mentality. Really? You're allowed to bellow your hatred in public as long as it's towards someone who's overweight. No, I'm saying dress appropriately, whether you're fit or overweight. But whether you're fit, when you're fit, people are disgusted by really unfit, unhealthy people. They're not attracted. They're gross. I'm sorry. Unless you fetishize fat people, it's gross. There's a natural objectively, science will lean you towards what's healthy, and that looks healthy. As well as our own nature, what we find turns us on, most of us, is healthy, better looking, more attractive, more confident, more well-spoken, more kind, more fair. But you can't the angry, obnoxious person, what is anger? What is a good personality? Come on, if we make everything relative, then we don't even know what our standards are. We're just getting rid of standards. Fine, you can have more sympathy to the fat people. I have less sympathy. In front of people, I will treat everyone fine, right? But I have my standards of what I find attractive, and I don't find fat women attractive. Sorry, I don't. I also have a hierarchy of different regions of the world that I find more attractive than others. It doesn't mean I hate them. I have a preference. And don't tell me I shouldn't have a preference. So if I have a preference for more attractive certain type of women, naturally, I've got a resistance or a disgust for the opposite, which is the more overweight and grotesque or angry or obnoxious, unfair women. She continues, your so-called moral high ground is built on the torment of people and you're just too small to admit it and just the mirror. No, no. Tell me objectively where I need to improve, where I'm being unfair. Fine. My last video, I was being fairly acerbic and I was being very blunt and I was trying to sort of poke tongue in cheek and be more entertainment rather than dry. And I was, you know, I wasn't being sympathetic or nice, but I was kind of giving tough love and making fun of the situation. Yeah. But I'm not making fun of them. I'm making fun of wearing tight yoga pants where I'm disgusted at looking at your genitalia through your sprayed on clothing. I've already repeated, I will give the gold medal to someone who wants to be better. Fit, unhealthy is not better. I'm pretty sure most of those people would rather be healthy too. I'm sure you won't bother to research how people become overweight and just to continue to demonize them, but nearly all of them have been sexually abused as nearly all of them have been abused as children or what could have been childhood, and your cruelty and aggression just results in absolute isolation of an entirely emotional, fragile and damaged person. Look, I'm sympathetic to them, right? And look, I'm not even going to touch on like women virtually have no sympathy to men at all. Like we're almost not humans. Fair enough. Women don't care about that. They like roll their eyes. Who cares? But I will take my hat off to someone who wants to be better, but I'm not going to join in their delusion of being unhealthy, of dying earlier because they're going to get diabetes and health problems, of them encouraging them descending into their own hell physically and mentally and going to therapy more and taking antidepressants. I would much rather, with tough love, pull someone out of their hole if they want my hand. But if you sit there, I'm extending my hand with reality, even if it is an acerbic tough love. If you acknowledge that you want to be better or you don't want to be there, I will help you. But if you won't take my hand, if you want me to drag you out of your hole and you've got 10-ton weights on your legs and you bite me every time I try and talk to you, then these acerbic videos is about the only thing that gets through. Again, you don't have to be my friend. Don't associate with people like me. Associate with people that will continue to, if you're fat, feed you donuts and say you're fat and beautiful, even though you're always lonely. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Doesn't bother me. I'm happy being alone or with people that will acknowledge reality. If they're in front of me and they're overweight, I'm not going to be that blunt as I was in my video because I'm not going to point the finger at a particular person, but I will point the finger at a particular activity or a way of thinking that is not healthy, that doesn't help us associate better in life, and it doesn't help us live better lives on our own. I'm not going to encourage you to be fat and unhealthy. And as I said, if you are truly happy and fat, what I said, you could laugh at it too. Oh, I can stretch this. And your cruelty and aggression just results in absolute isolation of already a fragile person. Is it any wonder they keep beating? Food is the only real friend they ever know. Yeah, well, they should find more friends than just food. If they know they've got a bad relationship with food, they need to modify that relationship with food for their own good because they know they don't have a comfortable one. I'm pretty sure they don't have a comfortable one. And I can have sympathy for it. But if they only hug their teddy bear of food that's like poisoning them and they hate the teddy bear they're hugging, they need to take steps in loosening their grip from that too. Again, I wasn't talking about the issue of fat people. I'm talking about fat people wearing clothing and pretending they're fit. It's like, I want to be fit. So if I just wear the clothes, I'm fit. Yay. Give me the medal. It's like, no, you don't get a gold medal. You're in last place. You can get the gold medal if you want to be realistic. Then wearing that tight clothing will sort of match sort of more of the gold medal that you want to get. You get to wear the yoga pants when you're starting to sort of get towards the gold medal. Then you look better. Keep going. Be the best person you can be physically. And it's not just that other people will find you more attractive. Your doctor will be happier too. The people around you, your family, will enjoy you living longer and sleeping better and not being grumpy. And you're able to eat more and enjoy food around family and friends much more. You don't have to bend over in your yoga pants, grossing people out as well. If people told me, like, humans, stop telling these jokes or talking about these things in public, I wouldn't do it. Like these kind of topics, I don't talk about this stuff in public only if people start talking about it openly, and then I start to give my opinion in a very a civil, mature way. So I'll give my opinion, but I don't blurt this stuff out because I know generally what people do and don't want to hear, and especially if I don't know who they are. So in the street, I'm not going to start talking about manosphere content. I'm going to be polite. I treat men and women the same. Please, hello, thank you, good day, smiles. Like there's a kind of baseline where I want to relate to people fairly, but I'm not going to tell a fat person she's gorgeous. Yeah. In the US, I've heard for a while now, they've got like in lingerie stores, they've got like 10XL lingerie sizes for women. It's like, Christ. Yeah, we're just fetishizing people. We're not really loving people anymore. That's the best we can do because we're not being honest. Be honest and we'll meet in the middle a bit more fairly. TW responded under Lingus and said, a surgeon I know just did surgery on an obese person yesterday. What should have taken 2 hours took 6 hours because they were fat. What should have been safe was risky because they were fat. What could have been prevented and wasn't because they were fat. We need to start being honest and say that being fat is bad. We accommodate fat, like I would say be sympathetic to fat people, but if that person wants to drag you down, then that's not good. It's like, no, I'm not saving you then. I'm not saving a person who's fat in yoga pants. I will save anyone until I'll save anyone from drowning, as I said, until they start pulling me under. TW says, unfortunately, I'm quite fat. No abuse in my past, just the love of food that has caught up with me. There you go. Reasonable. I'm on your side, man. If you're realistic about it, I wouldn't shame anyone like you personally, but I will shame what I think is unhealthy because I don't want to encourage or tell people that, okay, being unhealthy is just as good as being healthy. And you will just get the same life and have the same choices and have the same chances in relationships and lives and jobs and mobility and health as you will being fat. It's like you won't. What do you want out of life? Oh, I want more of this stuff. Then lean in that direction. Oh, but I don't want to. It's like, sorry, then you can't get a lot of this stuff here, whether it's between people or just in your own life. You're going to get you're going to get a few bonuses like eating as much as you can, and you're going to get sort of like the dopamine fix of always having the food that you want because you never what's the word? You never discipline yourself. You never uh, defer gratification. That's the word. So you never defer gratification. Deferring gratification for what you want the most. What's the saying? Discipline. Something about it's the difference between what you want and what you want most. I think it's the definition of discipline or something like that. And I think that's a really good one. What do you want? Donuts, food. I don't give a crap. Everyone should just love me. But what do you want the most? Where would your life be so good? Where would it feel like you won the lottery? That's what you want the most. So take the steps towards that. Um, Here we go. VKRG fan. She also responded, he's a bigot, as in I'm a bigot. This is why he's single. No, I'm not. I mean, I spoke to a lot of good-looking fitness guys who don't say shit like that. LMAO, laugh my ass off. They actually encourage and compliment full-body women at the gym so they get motivated to work out. So do I. I was talking about fashion choices that aren't appropriate in public. I would give the gold medal to an overweight person working out. If I even see them in the street working out, walking, running, sweating, is like, I feel really good. I'm their biggest champion. I support them. It's amazing how people don't actually look at the core message I'm saying. If I make one comment, it's all about that comment that they don't like. It's kind of like comedy. Like all you woke leaning people is like, you laugh at everything or everything's fine until they touch on that one subject that you take personally, even though it's not directed at you. It's about the subject. And if it's not personal, get over it. It's not about you. I wasn't talking about you. And I wasn't talking about fat people. I was talking about the presentation, the fishing, the pretending that fat is the same as fit. It's not. You're making people's lives worse. If you encourage people to have a miserable life over 30 years, how is that different to making someone feel completely terrible in the moment? I'd rather help people with tough love. Maybe it's a male thing. Maybe we're more susceptible to it. Channel 1-800 Dumb, thanks for the super chat. He says, bless you, human bro, one of the founders. I'm off to get Subway listening. Davina Vero Feral, salute you all. Human is number one. Thank you, man. Thanks for the support. I appreciate it. Let's read. I'll go on to some of these things. Jake says, there's no way 70% of people were sexually abused as children. Do you know the rate of obesity in Japan? It's 3% as opposed to 30% in America. Are you telling me that we have 10 times the abuse in Japan? Your premise is very flawed. People are very fat here in America because we eat too much and don't exercise enough. That's right. And like in the West, we're just more childish and we have access to, and they promote McDonald's everywhere. It's just very easy to be lazy and unhealthy. Whereas in places like Japan, the culture is much more disciplined towards a healthier lifestyle. So it's harder to be unhealthy. People are fat here in America because we eat too much and don't exercise enough. The fatness shouldn't be celebrated, and fatness shouldn't be celebrated like it is here. You die earlier, you are also bigger, no pun intended. Burden on the healthcare system on top of the aesthetics. Yeah, health system, everything's more expensive. People are more miserable, psychological problems. Let's just lean in the healthy direction, can we? And agree that that's better. And what I was trying to do what I was expressing was just my exacerbated tough love at let's stop pretending. And I added, I'm talking about wearing skin tight clothing when you're overweight that leaves nothing to the imagination. I'm not making fun of being overweight specifically, only thrusting your almost naked and unhealthy body in my face in public. But it's not like I want to stop them doing it. By all means, live in your fantasy, get annoyed that people somehow admire your fat body, because they don't. Chris says, often overweight to obese women wearing tight-fitting clothing simply because of delusions and magical thinking. In the most ludicrous example, fake it until you make it. Maybe that's part of it. Like, you're going to fake it. If you wear the tight clothing, you are magically going to lean in the direction of getting fit one day by doing nothing. But if you're wearing your yoga pants casually, if you only wear them when you exercise, and if I saw women everywhere wearing yoga pants and you only saw them exercising in it, I wouldn't have anything to say about it. I was like, yeah, the more attractive women look better in it. I was like, yeah, not the best with fat women, but sort of, good on you. Anyway, you're aiming for the fit body. Some feel entitled to be seen as attractive or beauty at any size. Propaganda. Schlitzmaltz liquor. Another case of people displaying mental illness and wanting everyone to go along for a ride on their crazy train. I agree. Travis says the old saying, your pants say yoga, but your ass says McDonald's. Springs to mind. Gareth says, how you dress in is how you get treated. Dress casually to be treated casually. This was by Nigel Farage. I don't know who that is. Yeah. How you present is how people automatically respond to you. They might get to know your personality afterwards, but how you look is how you look. Like if you're in public and you talk about, oh, that person, blah, blah, blah. Who was that? Oh, the fat chick or the big chick. Like we dance around the obvious. The big person, the skinny person, the good-looking person, the blonde chick, the biggest elephant in the room, physical signalers that we can describe somebody as. Oh, that person with a great personality. Who? You know, the really nice person was like, who? Get to the point. The fat chick. The nice, like the person who told Jack that joke, or the person with wearing those big pants or those yoga pants. You know, women respond a lot. They get insecure about the physical, yet they want us to pretend that the physical isn't an obvious marker. David P says, obviously we all have different opinions on what feels attractive, and that's okay. What's not okay is who's well over 200 pounds. She dresses in clothes as if she's barely 100 pounds and puts it all out there for everyone to see. If a guy walked around the street in a Speedo, women would say, I don't consent to seeing that. Well, ladies, I don't consent to seeing your bits crammed into a sausage casing. Exactly. Capo says, gotta love the commentators who are offended over this video. Some of the reasons behind the excuses has been grade A BS and dodging accountability. They are the same people who will gather with pitchforks when former overweight celebrities lose their weight and begin to promote how great they feel. Yeah, isn't that funny? When someone who's proud, loud and proud, and saying like, I lost weight, I feel great, they will really condemn them, and you're a bit like, they want to shut them down and, you know, crucify them for being thin. It's like, well, why can't you just accept them for being fit and healthy and being happy and people loving them for doing that? But people don't love me. People don't celebrate me. Yeah, because that's not a good standard. We can be sympathetic if you speak and acknowledge reality and say, yeah, I know. We can have compassion for someone who's suffering. But if you're saying I need to speak and think as though I'm speaking and thinking towards a hot chick, like, I can't live in your world. I can't. Because then if I start thinking and believing that BS, my world is going to be as messed up as yours. All of these delusional woke thinkers, their world's a mess. They're like, a lot of them are like taking antidepressants. They're always fighting. They're angry. They're bitter. They don't get along with people. They don't have friends. They're always like angry at stuff. They're not calm. Their mental health isn't good. What else does he say? Yeah, these are the same people that sort of condemn overweight people who lose weight, and now they feel good about themselves. Why can't you feel, if someone who's skinny feels good about themselves, why do you get angry at that? And yet somehow that's still considered shaming. Please, you can lie to the world all you want, but have some self-respect and quit lying to yourselves. I keep saying it, if we stop lying to ourselves, we'll stop lying to other people. This is what I have an issue with. Fat people in yoga pants in public are lying to themselves, and then they're lying to me. I don't like being lied to. Lie to yourself all you want, but physically lying to me and thrusting your naked body into my face, like virtually naked body, because it's sprayed onto you, your clothing, your lie is towards me, and you're not addressing your lie. Stop lying to yourselves, and we will stop lying to each other. Lat QCD92 says it's safe to criticize men that do stuff like that when they rarely do, but you have to pretend it's perfectly acceptable when women do it. It's just a reflection of the virtually non-existent standards women are held to today, despite them hypocritically holding men to a higher standard than they hold themselves to. Yeah, Men have to lower their standards, excuse women's low standards, keep going lower and lower. Yeah, you're beautiful. I know. No, it's okay. Yeah, I know you bit my head off and you're angry. Like, that's okay, dear. I understand you. I understand you. And your standards for men are really high. But the moment we kind of just have objectively healthy standards and saying like, oh, that's gross. There's a range of healthy bodies. It's like, no, all women's bodies are beautiful. Women can do no wrong. There's never any reason to strike a woman. There's they're perfect. Perfect. Always, like, never make jokes to women. Never make fun of women. Never laugh at women, which is another reason why most female comedians aren't funny, because you're not allowed to laugh at women. You can only make jokes to other people, to men, but you can never laugh at yourself. So women's inability to laugh at themselves and be realistic about laughing to themselves and going, this is funny. Hey, I do it too. Yeah, I'm an idiot too. Women really have a hard time laughing at themselves. They don't like feeling guilt. They don't like shaming each other. And this is kind of healthy shaming that men are used to. Men have always shamed each other healthily to get better. And it's a way that we can trust someone. When someone can take a joke and realize, yeah, I effed up. It's like, oh, cool, this person's sane. He's objective. He's realistic. He's not delusional. I don't have to buy into his fantasy. Like, can you imagine back in the hunter-gatherer days when you're in a group of 5 hunters and it's like, oh, okay, human, you stand guard while we sleep. I fall asleep and we get attacked. And it's like, there's a couple of us only survive. And it's like, why did you fall asleep? I didn't. You don't understand my childhood. Look, I don't care. You fell asleep. Can we just agree you fell asleep? But I don't feel I fell asleep. It's not my truth. You fell asleep. It affected all of us. Anyway, Quasimandias says, a pretty essential rule in relating to people. If someone treats you in a manner you don't appreciate and you're rewarded anyway, you can be sure that that behavior will continue and get worse. Yes, yes, yes. Let's wrap this up because we've been going for... Whoa. Yeah. We've been going for a while now and I have to go to a family function in about 15 or 20 minutes. So any last questions or super chats and we'll call this a wrap, guys. Pill M. Munger says, so much diversity just makes an already chaotic world worse. We've been forever trying to simplify it, integrating changes slowly and steadily. Yeah, we're fragmenting. We don't know. We can't spin this many plates in accommodating everyone and everything. We've been trying for simplifying, integrating, steadying slowly. Accepting so much change at once breaks our structure. Exactly. We can't do so many things at once. We can only concentrate on keeping the base stable. But if everything's the base, everyone's truth is the truth, it's like we've got no stability. We can't relate to each other. If everyone's got different truths for sanity, different ontological truths. Here you go. David Shields says, a co-worker of mine loved very large women. Yeah, there are a minority of guys that love very large women. But he continues, but he was afraid of getting into another relationship with one because of health issues. His previous girlfriend died from complications. I can bet my health the complications were because she was fat. You're avoiding the truth by, you can be fat and happy, but I think there are very few people that can stay there for a long time or that privately wouldn't be happier if they were healthier. Rocket scientist, when humans' hands get near the camera, they look huge. Look at that. Look at that. Martial arts oriental medicine, thank you for the super chat. Interesting human. I made a study on certain fabrics, etc. people wear, e.g. tights and piercings, how it greatly affects health, skin, muscle, skeletal and nerves, and dermatomes in regards to acupuncture and physical therapy. a lot of stuff it does kind of domino into other aspects. Our perception, how we concept connects, like how we concept connect what we see compared to their personality, and how we form an opinion on somebody. Like people like to pretend that a lot of this stuff isn't relatable, how it doesn't sort of form a picture. All of this jigsaw forms a picture in the end. It's kind of like, if you have a certain personality, then why do you dress like that? If you're a really great, optimistic, glass half full person, why do you dress like a goth? I mean, there are exceptions, I'd say, but maybe, but like, why? Like your immediate reaction to the person is often on point, and very rarely there's exceptions. But I think it's much more sensible to live in the general rather than the exception, because you're always disappointed in the exception if that's what you calibrate yourself towards. All right, guys, any last questions or super chats, and let's wrap it up in the next 30 seconds. Yeah, so this rant video I just did, this one here, I knew it would get a lot of attention. It was meant to be a bit of fun. And like, I don't care about, like, I think there should be a sense of humor with everything. It's very different if someone points at you and belittles and makes fun of you personally. That's a personal attack. But I think we need to get our sense of humor back, because a lot of this tough love sense of humor of get your life in order, you fat prick, as guys typically used to do, is like, yeah, come on, as a joke. It's a lighthearted way, a tough love, blunt way to kind of just pick a guy up and say, fucking go. Come on, let's stop wallowing here. Let's be happy. Let's be happier. No, I want to cry. I want to sulk here in the corner. And like, you can't pick the person up, when they let their legs go limp. It's like, I don't want to get up. It's like, fine. I'm tired of trying to pick you up. Yeah, Bumblebee says, remember when some fat celebrities started losing weight and people criticized them for doing so? Yeah. Don't criticize fat people, but you can criticize fat people who got thin. Oh, they betrayed me. It's kind of like some guys in the manosphere, if they're single and then they find a girlfriend. Like, you betrayed us. It shouldn't matter what a person does. We should agree on what's like a healthy way of living. If I see a guy who kind of got married and had kids and stuff, like, good for you. If it looks like a healthy lifestyle, you're living the way you want, you're open, you're honest, you're loving your life. I don't care what you do. I don't care what orientation you are. Mr. Highway says people don't realize how much aesthetics shape our perception of reality. Yes, I'm a very artistic person. I'm visually much more cued as well. I'm sort of in substance, substantially much more cued in terms of intellect as well. But I like dancing with both of them. I just don't like art aesthetically, but I like what the underlying meaning to art. Let's just kind of expands the art for me if there's meaning behind it. All right, guys, let's wrap this up. Doesn't look like there's any more super chats or questions. Enjoy your Sunday. It's a sunny one here in Melbourne. Blue skies. It should be good. And for the rest of you, if you've got a microphone, jump on Discord. A bunch of us usually get on there after this weekend's stream. And yeah, rant respectably. Don't rant to each other. Rant about issues and allow them to propel you forward in the best possible direction. If you need something to motivate you, don't, but like, I'm not a big advocate of putting people down. But yeah, have a good Sunday. Let's be honest, because like, you can be nice to a point, but after a while, when people start dragging you down into their delusion, where your life is worse and worse because you have to live a lie around all these people, it's like, nah, like you can drown on your own. You refuse any realistic help and you want me to drown along with you? No. Like, if it's between me and you, and you don't want to be sensible and have a realistic relational conversation with me in life, then sorry, I can't do all the work for you. I can't drown with you. I know what's good in life. I know what makes me feel better after I put in some effort. I know what engaging with life, how it makes me feel more alive. I feel more dead when I engage with the woke crowd in their delusions. Whether it's the fat acceptance mob, whether it's the rainbow kind of things where we're supposed to believe, as was it Douglas Murray says, uh, we believe we know what we just came up with today, and we pretend not to know what we knew was true yesterday. It's just stupid. Why wouldn't you benefit from common sense and what our elders used to impart onto us? It's like, you may not have experienced it, but here's a helping hand. This is reality. Bunch of children. Bunch of children. Anyway, enjoy your weekend, guys. I'll catch you in the next video. Have a bit of sense of humor with each other. Treat each other well. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.